Appreciate you clicking on this video. Like, subscribe, click all the stuff down below. Check out Rambo Bikes. Use R Woods at checkout. Save yourself some money. We're building some new arrows today. Go check out Fishing Stuff in Sherwood, Arkansas if you're looking for arrows, bows, releases, all that stuff. Good people, link down below. We're building some new arrows for Shot 3D, tack, all that stuff, and potentially we're going to hunt with them. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. Stick around. It's going to be a fun one. So this is the arrow I've been shooting for a while now, the Easton 5.0, and pros and cons to it. I'll do a full breakdown, long-term review of it later on, but I'm going to keep shooting them for now. I like them that much anyway. They're a 340. The problem is I cut these a little short because my PSEs, my darting, all that stuff, it's 28.5, 28 3/4 is kind of the draw length, but on some other bows, I'm a 29. So I cut these to be perfect for 28.5, 28 3/4, and they just don't, they're too short to be able to shoot on any bow. So I'm going to make, and I'm out of arrows. So this is the new arrow that I've been running. This is a Easton 5.0 with a Bohning Alpha, and these are the DCA Mini Sabers. Big fan of the DCA Mini Sabers. The Alphas seem to fly great too. They're just a straight offset on all of them. I want to experiment with some more helical. I hadn't done any helical in like 4 years. So I'm gonna experiment with some more helical on my arrows. So we're going to take these off and we're going to make some new arrows that are this length so they can be a shot out of any of my bows, while also swapping out these Bohning Alphas with a different fletch. So this is what we're going to be running on this new one. The Atlas, the Bohning Atlas vein, just like the Alpha, it looks like. Anyway, I'm not an expert on these, but a lot more, a lot less stiff. So the Alphas, while I like them and I'm a fan of a stiff vein, these are very stiff, which again, I like, but they're not great for helical. And you can see these are a lot flimsier, I guess you could say, or bendable or pliable or whatever the technical term is. We also have some wraps that I got off of Amazon, one-shot wraps. I've never had an issue with these, and they're pretty cool looking wraps, and they seem to stick really good. So we're going to first try a little secret that I guess is not really a secret, but nobody really talks about. We're going to take these off because we're getting rid of the Alphas and we're going to the Atlas, and I'm going to show you a little secret on getting these off. I've got a big pitcher of water here. I've got my little camp stove. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take this knockout. I'm going to heat this up, this water to boiling, and I'm going to insert this wrap and this whole section in the water for 10 seconds. When I get it out, this peels off so good and so smooth and clean, and I don't have to worry about shaving it with the potato peeler or anything like that. It's way quicker and cleaner and simpler. Now, always be careful when you're putting this in hot water. I don't think 212 degrees is going to necessarily harm it, but flex it, check it, make sure you don't have any carbon splitting on you or anything like that. I think straight direct heat of 500 to 1,000 degrees could potentially harm it, but just boiling water, not going to be a problem in my own personal opinion. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Let's get this heated up. It's going to take a minute because this is a lot of water. So I'll let this dry. I'm not even going to worry about that glue residue that's on there. We're fixing to put another wrap on it. It doesn't stick up anything. It's just on the carbon, so it's not going to affect the way it lays down or anything. It's smooth. If I was worried about it all, I'd hit it with a real light sandpaper, but it's just cosmetic. We'll let those dry, and then we'll throw some new wraps on there. So while we're letting those dry, we're going to get 6 brand new Easton 5.0s out. These are 340 spine. We will cut these down, 4, 5, 6. We will cut these down to the same length as these two, and then we will be ready to start fletching them up. All right, so we've got these 6 ready to go. We'll have 8 in total. I might actually bump it up to 10 or so. I might grab a few more out of the package and make a few more because I've got a Shot 3D and a tack back to back, so I won't have time to make new arrows if I ruin a bunch of them. Get the carbon out of these shafts because some carbon dust does get up in there and it will not be good for the glue, so knocking some of that out. All right, as always, I square them on this G5 squaring jig. I would probably be better off to then remove the carbon, not before. So if I was to do this again, I would probably flip that around and do it the other way. But all right, next up, we're gonna start putting our wraps on. We're gonna do the hit system very last. First one done. Wrap looks good, bright. We'll throw the vanes on there and hopefully it'll be one pretty arrow. Since I'm going back to a helical and not just a straight fletch, I went ahead and invested in an Arizona Easy Fletch. I think if you're going to do helical, something like this is a good route to go. Again, I've never used this before, so this is going to be a learning experience for me as well as everybody else, I guess. But we're going to use tack glue. I don't know where my good cheap super glue is that works great. Bohning vanes, again, pre-prime, shouldn't have to prime these. This tack glue should work fine, even though it's not tack vanes. I've fletched a lot of arrows that were not, or fletched a lot of vanes that weren't tack vanes with tack glue. So we're gonna get these on here, get some glue on them. We're gonna see how good this Easy Fletch works. Again, never used an Easy Fletch before, so this might be totally wrong and awful and not work very good at all, but we're going to try it. All right, so I've got glue on them all. I'll throw those on, snap that up. Lock that in there for a little bit. Again, I think there's going to be a lot of glue everywhere, so this could be a mess when they come off, but shouldn't have to be held on there just too awful long, and then we'll just pop this off, and hopefully we can fletch up our vanes a lot quicker this way. And the helical will be a little more accurate. Other than I got a mess to clean up on some super glue. Look pretty good, but I've got these here ready to go. So I've fletched a few arrows with this Easy Fletch now, and I've got a little question about it. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, but the first problem that I guess you could say I have with it is how do you get the arrow to be centered when you flip these things up? A few times I've got it where it's not centered. One of them I got to redo, and the other ones I think I got it centered before it dried. I do think it is fast. I do think if you can consistently get it to fold up, they do look good. A little bit messy, but that's probably just a me thing. So here, when I put this in, when I fold these up, how do you get it center every time? I guess maybe I was just moving too fast. Is there a secret to them? Do you not do it all three at once? I don't know, but it does seem to work if you get it to fold up at the same exact time. If one hits first and it kind of pushes the arrow, then the other two hit, it's not equal for some reason. So let me know down in the comments, what's the trick to that with this Arizona Easy Fletch? It's intriguing, and if there's a way to get consistent with it, I think it could be really cool because it does give you the helical. They are consistent. It is faster, so like just the amount of time it takes to fletch an arrow is quick. Like that didn't take any time at all compared to the bits, having to use it. All right, so we've got them all fletched up. We've got our slight left helical. Not sure if I'm sold on the Easy Fletch or not, but more to come on that. Now we're gonna put our inserts in, our hit system, and we are going to let these dry. We've got tips already over there just waiting on them, and then we'll be good to go. I use just a gel super glue, just a Gorilla Glue gel. I don't know if it's the best or not. That one's actually already got one in it, but it does seem to work pretty good for me. So I just work that back and forth a little bit and then jam it into the hit system itself. Pull this part out. Might give this end a little wipe down in case you get some glue on it. Some people take the nocks out. I've not had an issue with that. I don't use a ton of glue though, so maybe that's part of it. All right, so it's been a few days now, and after I talked all that smack, I guess, about how I've never had any of these hit inserts push out, I did have one push out. I actually had two push out, but I caught the other one and was able to jam it back in. This one was already dry. It's only out a little bit. It's just gonna be one of those that I kind of have to make a mental note of. The rest of them seem to work good. No issues with the hit insert sliding out, but from now on I will pull the nocks on these before I make them, before I glue that hit insert in. So I guess next thing, I'm gonna shoot through paper, see if we still got a good flying arrow before we start shooting anything down range. Let's see what they're weighing. See how consistent they are. 368, 369. At some point I'll put numbers on these. 368. That one's saying 370, 69. I got a couple at 369. Maybe those were the older ones that I redid. 368. She's perfect. That one might be a touch tip high, and that one's just spot on. And that one's spot on as well. So 3 different arrows. That's our first arrow. About perfect. Second arrow is a touch high, and I don't know if that was the arrow or me or what. Third arrow is just about perfect. Just kind of looks like we're gonna roll with them. We're gonna see how they fly. If we start noticing any weird flights, we'll come redo it. I just wanna do a quick test of this before we go and see how these fly down range. All right, 20 yards. Again, the sight is not perfect. Should be close enough that we can at least get an idea. Yeah, those are hitting solid. Let's back them up and see how they shoot at range. I think that's kind of the tell-all. All right, so this is 45 yards. I've got one arrow down there already just because I was walking it back a little bit and didn't want to just totally launch an arrow into the woods. 45 yards because it's in the shade. I think this will be close. We'll see. Oh, that one broke low. They look like they're flying straight as could be from my point of view. I don't know where they're hitting, but they're flying good. Let's go check them out. All right, so I wish I could say this is just how I shoot all the time. But those are pretty dang good right there. Hopefully I didn't break any because I couldn't tell how they were grouping or I wouldn't have kept shooting in them. Just to click right, this was that one that I told you was a bad shot that I really thought it was more low than left, but still, these arrows seem to be flying really good. They were straight out of the bow. I think the term, and I don't know if it's the bow or the arrow, forgiving might be the way to describe them. These ones down here are touching, and again, if you're shooting 5.0s, you might want to make sure nothing broke. They're not very durable. All right, so our Atlas vanes. So far, I'm impressed with them. They seem quiet. They're steering good. They seem like they're flying straight out of the bow. The 5.0 arrows seem to be a little inconsistent on weight. You know, that could be from wraps, glue, vanes, tips. I don't know where that necessarily the problem on that is. I'm 1 to 3 grains off, depending on how you look at it. When I build my sight tape, I'll probably set it to 368, 369, because that was kind of the middle of the ground. Some were 368, some were 370. So shouldn't be too big of a deal. we'll test these long range. Again, I do have that one weird one, but I couldn't even tell you where it hit. That's sticking out just a little bit longer. I couldn't even tell you where that one hit at. That's so I don't think it's gonna be quite that big of a deal. I'll just try not to shoot this one. But the fletchings seem to be really good. I'm really thinking left helical could be pretty cool. I'm gonna play with them, stick around, like, subscribe. We're gonna be launching them at long range. We're gonna keep tweaking these. I'm not done with these, but so far, right out of the gates, I think these are a really good arrow. They're flying super straight, and I think they're pretty forgiving with this setup. So let me know what you think. What setup are you using? What fletchings, what arrows, what weight are you taking into tack? I like this arrow, 368. I could throw a knock on, add about, what, 10 grains, a lighted knock. I could throw 125 up front, I could put a collar on it, and now we're talking about a deer hunting arrow, which would be great for this area. Problem is they're a little weak as far as breaking, so I'm not 100% sure I want to hunt with them, but just something to think about. Let me know what you think, leave a comment. Appreciate you watching, like, subscribe, stick around.